Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Anger is a natural emotion. It's something that everybody experiences, something that everybody goes through, but we don't all handle it the same. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous says that for alcoholics and addicts, if we are to live, we have to be free of anger. It's something that we have to actively work to not have as a influence in our lives. I think being completely free of anger is probably not a realistic goal. All of us get angry from time to time. The question is, what do we do with that anger? And I think Harold S. Kushner in the book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People, has a really good answer for that. So I'm going to read some from the book and then talk about what he's saying here. He says, whenever bad things happen to good people, there is likely to be a feeling that we might have prevented the misfortune if we had acted differently. And there will almost certainly be feelings of anger. One of the most important questions when we are hurt and angry is, what do we do with our anger? Sometimes we turn our anger upon the person responsible for hurting us, the supervisor who fired us, the wife who walked out on us, the driver who caused the accident. Sometimes, because our anger is more than we can contain, we find someone to blame, guilty or not, convincing ourselves that they could have and should have prevented the tragedy. Sometimes, if we can't find another person to dump our anger on, we turn it on ourselves. The textbook definition of depression is anger turned inward instead of being discharged outwards. And sometimes we are angry at God because we're brought up to believe that everything that happens is God's will. We hold him responsible for what happened, or at the very least, for not having prevented it from the beginning. What do we do with our anger when we have been hurt? The goal, if we can achieve it, would be to be angry at the situation rather than at ourselves or those who might have prevented it or are close to trying to help us, or at God who let it happen. Getting angry at ourselves makes us depressed. Being angry at other people scares them away and makes it harder for them to help us. Being angry at God erects a barrier between us and all the sustaining, comforting resources of religion that are there to help us at such times. But being angry at the situation, recognizing it as something rotten, unfair, and totally undeserved, shouting about it, denouncing it, crying it over it, permits us to discharge the anger, which is a part of being hurt, without making it harder for us to be helped. I think this is the distinction that I would draw between feeling anger and holding on to it. And I think that is really what the Big Book is getting at when it talks about being free from anger. As alcoholics and addicts, we have a tendency to hold on to anger. So we get angry about something and then we keep that anger and we allow that anger to take over. We let it take over our relationships with other people. We let it take over the way that we view the world around us, and we let it take over the way that we view ourselves. Instead of just experiencing the anger as we would any other emotion, allowing it to be and then allowing it to pass. And so because we hold on to the anger, we're not free from the anger. We are chained to that anger, and it becomes a part of who we are. Our habit becomes to take anger, grab onto it, and use it to judge other people, use it to judge God, use it to judge ourselves. Because we're in the process of judgment, we form resentments. Those resentments weigh us down in ways that are hard to imagine until, through a program like AA, we begin to divulge ourselves of them. And so I think that it's important that we understand that anger is a natural feeling. It's something that everybody has, and that allowing yourself to feel anger is okay. But indulging in anger and directing it improperly at people, places, things that really did not cause the situation or were just tangentially involved in it, that's not an appropriate way to deal with it. What Kushner is saying is that if we can just focus our anger on, oh, this is a crappy situation, it sucks that this happened, and allow ourselves to feel that emotion and then get over it without feeling the need to blame another person, that is going to help us to move past the emotion and not be and be free from it in a way that we never could have before. So I feel like a lot of times in my recovery, I've gotten upset with myself because I've been angry. And what I really need to recognize is that it's okay to be angry, because there's a lot of things in life that are easy to get angry about. Life is not fair. Life is sometimes very disturbing, and there's a lot of things that happen that can really upset you. It's okay to feel that way, but it's where I direct that anger and then whether I hold on to that anger that really makes a difference and is going to spell the difference between whether or not that anger moves me back closer to my active addiction or whether it's something that I just experience and move on from in my recovery. That's it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with more. Have a good one.